What's going on, guys? It's DigiWatch TCG coming to you with another deck profile. Now today I'm going to be showing you my yellow-red, guess you can call it security control deck profile, and I'm very excited to show it because I've been holding on to yellow for quite a while. I didn't like how it was played in the last format, and really you can only play it in like kind of security control, or you can try some other like Sukriyamon builds and stuff. But I really wanted to make this deck good once Sukriyamon Maid mode comes out, so that's the focus of this deck. Spoilers. But I'm going to go through it now. Please like, subscribe, leave your thoughts below on what you'd like to see next. So starting things off, we are playing 4 of the Digimon. And just to kind of get it out of the way, we're playing 4 Gallantmon. If you don't know this combo, this is a really, really popular combo when you're playing the red version of this deck. Basically, Digimon is when you have a Gallantmon attack your opponent's attack your opponent, you can draw 1. Gallantmon has a similar effect of when you digivolve, or sorry, when you attack with him, you will be able to draw 1. So because yellow is a little slower than some of the other decks, basically what you're trying to do is you raise up the Digimon very early. Hopefully you pulled one of your Gallantmons in the opening hand, promote, and then it's a draw 2. So that's kind of like the goal here. Again, there's not that many ways of drawing in this deck. Other than just the initial draw for Digivolve. So this is a way of getting to your pieces slightly faster. So that is, I'm just going to put them all in a pile over here for our eggs and our rookies. Going into our level 4s, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because this is pretty standard. 4 Kazimon, 4 Zephyrmon. I have seen 1 or 2 builds that have like the blocker, the Pitomon, because it is a 1 cost, and I'm like, okay, but what are you digivolving on top of? So I really think this is the way you can build this deck, is just hybrids, because you have a lot of tamers, and sometimes like this is a really good building card, building block, and also it's a way of you being able to swing and do checks without the worry of like, oh, this is going to die next turn, because it's a hybrid. I mean, you digivolve on tamer, you swing, or you digivolve and continue your turn. But 4 and 4, not too much to talk about there. Going into our 5s. Now this is, I'm going to say, this is where you'll see like a lot of different builds. This is where a lot of variations of the decks come through. And starting off, I'm going to show basically all of them at once and just kind of talk about each choice. So we have 1 Jet Selfie because it's restricted to 1. If you don't know, you digivolve on top of a hybrid that has a tamer underneath it. It's a cost of 1, and then you recover 1 on digivolve. That's really what it is. It's so good that it had to be cut down to 1. Unfortunately, though, hopefully they maybe consider bringing it back at least up to 2. I'd be okay with 2. But we're playing 1 Sukriyamon as kind of like another way of digivolving, and we're only playing 1 of. I've seen some deck profiles with multiple copies of this, which is fine, but I feel like with this, the way this I want to run the deck, I don't think this is a good idea. And I think 1 is fine because it is sort of like, okay, if I'm in trouble and this is the only way of like prolonging and holding on to dear life for this with this deck, this is the way to go. I would definitely take this out though if I had the chance for like maybe another of the next card over here I'll show, which is Rise Greymon. We're playing 2 copies of the Rise Greymon. This is the BT2 one, and what it does is when you play it, you can play a yellow tamer from your hand. The unplay cost is not activated. It has inherited. If you have 3 or more tamers in play, your Digimon gets +1 security. So I tailored this deck to be a little bit more aggressive. It's kind of like a mid deck. You have a little bit of a recovery, but your focus is more along the lines of doing multiple checks and clearing their boards. So we have that. We're playing 1 Rise Greymon. That is the red version of it. You digivolve on top of a yellow or a red, so it's kind of like that honorary dual color in a sense. But basically, when you digiburst, which you want to do with this deck, you'll be able to play a tamer, and you do get its on-play effects. So that is the effect there, and then it has inherited of when you have a tamer in play and you attack them. One of their Digimon gets -2,000, so it just kind of can clear small problems away, like Gazimons and things like that. We're playing 1 of them, but I would definitely consider, again, bringing it up to 2 if I decide to be just the more aggressive version. And then we're playing 2 copies of Rise Greymon. This card is so good. This is like the reason you're playing this deck. You digivolve on top of a Rise Greymon or have an X antibody in the source. In this case, I'd probably be digivolving on top of a Rise Greymon. And then what you do is when you do, you play a tamer for free from your hand, and then one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2,000 for every yellow or red tamer you have in play. And then also on your turn, this Digimon gets 1,000 additional DP for every tamer you have in play. So if you have 3 tamers, this is 11,000 DP. That's already on the stat line for most of the level 6s. So this is kind of like saying I don't even need to go into level 6 bro. I could just go Digimon for 1 on top of this guy and be able to clear your board, and it's crazy. It's so good. I really like this ratio right now. I am testing it, but like I said, if I consider making a little bit more aggressive, I'm probably going to go with another Rise Greymon instead of the Sakuyamon. Now, some other things you can consider if you're not looking to play the Rise Greymon package is also playing the Angel Woman package, which is the Angel Woman. There's an Angel Woman, I don't remember what set it's from, but you basically Digivolve and you recover if you have 3 or less in your security, and then you Digivolve on top into the Angel Woman X, which also will recover you, I think, if you have 5 or less security, and then it does some other effects. I don't remember the exact effect, but I've seen the build with it, which works really just as consistency as this one, and it's more of a recovery base. So you're looking to recover rather than be able to do anything to your opponent. Now, that is basically the level 5s that we play in the deck. Now again, depending on what your level 5s are, will really kind of dictate how you want to go with your level 6s. For me, I'm playing 2 of the new Maid mode, Sakuyamon Maid mode, 1 of the BT3 Sakuyamon, and 1 Venusmon as our top end right now. Now I might change this ratio up, I might try out some other things in it, but I do really like it right now, and it's basically, I'll tell you what each card does. Main mode is the main reason we're doing this deck, and I might bump this up to like maybe another one, find another space, maybe take the Shikuyamon out. I don't know yet. But basically what it is when you play Digivolve, you can play an option from your hand for free. Has to be 5 cost. Color does not matter to it. And then what happens is you play that card, and then at the end of the resolution of that effect, it'll go to the top of your security stack, which is really, really good in this deck. Additionally, when you are attacking, you can Digivolve for 1 into a Sakuyamon in your hand. So it's an easy way of being able to play your card, recover 1, swing, and then, whatever you're going to do with it, you can Digivolve into your Sakuyamon, have the Sakuyamon in play. And the reason I'm playing this Sakuyamon, just so you know, and I'm going to explain the effect in a second, is there are going to be still some some decks such as Grandis, such as Metal Garurumon, that are put in the raising area and promoted up, and this gives -3 security checks for cards that are brought up from the raising to the battle area, and then when this swings into the security, it gets the security Digimon get -3,000, so that you can most likely survive those checks. So that is why I'm playing 1 of her. And again, I might change it up depending on what I feel the meta is like leaning toward. And then lastly, we were playing 1 Venusmon, and this card is just so good as a great defensive option. Basically, what it does is when you Digivolve, you give all your opponent's Digimon -1 security check. And additionally, if they have effects that are on your opponent's turn, if they have effects that are giving it some kind of security plus or minus effect, you are going to be able to stop their attacking and Digivolving effects. So if, let's say you're playing a Jessamon player, and that Jessamon player Digivolves and has Digivolving Blitz, that Blitz actually cannot activate because Venusmon already gave it the Digimon underneath it, if it was already out, for example, -1 security. So that is why I'm playing 1 copy of her, 1 Sakuya, and 2 main modes. So that is our lineup for our 6s. And then our 7s can be different, whatever you like it to be. I'm playing Susanamon, but you also can play Death Xmon. I just can't find room right now into it, but I do know it can be very, very good in this deck. So for those of you who are going to say, wait, where's the Death Xmon? You could choose a card, whether it's a tamer, an option. There are definitely a few options. You can even say, like, yeah, I just cut that one and put the Death X in. And And then again, for some other options for your level 6s, you can play the Sakuyamon that lets you unsuspend and add a plug-in back to hand. You can play some other cards from older sets. War Greymon is a nice example of that, being able to recover one card, or sorry, take a card from the top of your security, add it to your hand, and then minus 6,000 DP to one of your opponent's Digimon is really, really good sometimes. And again, there's like just multiple ways you can build this deck. It's really nice. Like that's the one thing I really like about the BT10 meta is that there's so many options out right now that you could play this so many different ways. Like there's a purple version of this deck that plays like more of a purple base, and it also plays like more like the Chaos Degrade, Flame Hellscythe kind of cards in as well. There's a fall down mode type of deck, so like there's multiple ways of playing this deck. I'm just showing you the red-yellow version. So now we're gonna go into our Tamers first, because these Tamers are pretty standard in most of these decks. Play 3 TKs and 1 Kari. I think these are fine for memory Tamers. I have seen deck profiles with more of these. I'm personally think 4 is fine. There's other ways of gaining memory in this deck, trust me. So I do like the TK card, and also just something to mention here. I've seen a lot of players make this mistake, so I'm going to just say like I don't think they should. They have to think about this. So let's say you have a TK and a Gallantmon in your security, and then they play the TK. What you want to do is actually take the second TK and recover, because if you take the Gallantmon and or let's say like you had this, and I'm just going to throw in the Kari, for example. So let's say you had the Kari, the TK, and the Gallantmon, and you take the Kari, and you say, oh, I'm going to take the Kari, add to hand. Now you have the Kari in hand, but your opponent attacks and they hit into another TK. You're forced to take out the Gallantmon if there's no other cards in your security, and then that gives you one less security and closer for them to win. So just a little tidbit of information if you are playing the deck. Just kind of think about those things before you do play them. So we're playing 3 TK, 1 Kari, because you do recover a little bit in this deck. We're playing 2 of the Zoes. Zoe here is a very good card. The order of operations for playing Zoe: you play TK, you look in your security, you say, alright, I'm going to be taking this card, and oh look, there's a Zephyrmon in there. So now that you know there's a Zephyrmon there, the next time you have a chance, you can play Zoe, get the Zephyrmon out of there, so you recover, you hopefully get into one of your options. So 2 Zoe, because we're not playing 12 hybrids anymore, we're playing 9, so something to keep in mind. We're playing 4 copies of TK, sorry, not TK, Tai and Kari. This is a really good card here. When you have 3 or less memory in both you and your opponent's security, you gain a memory for each. So if you have 3 and they have 5, you gain 1 memory. Also, it's a red and yellow, which is very important for our options. And then when you attack their security with a yellow or red Digimon, you can tap this to get minus 2,000. Just very, very good for that reason. And then 2 TK Karis, because this kind of, and believe it or not, is somewhat of a stun card. When you play this out, your opponent might be a little hesitant of attacking your security, because they will not want to start you with more memory in the next turn. Also has a effect that when you attack with a yellow Digimon, you can tap it to give 1,000. A lot of people forget that there's that effect on here. So that is our level, our Tamers over here. Like I said, pretty standard. There's actually more. I know that in some cases, some people will play 4 Karis in this deck, which I'm personally against. I don't think that's necessary. If anything, I would maybe play 2, but 2 total. Now for the main reason you are playing this deck is the Sunrise Buster. We're playing it at a full 4 set here. What you want to do with this card is basically the combos. You have main mode triggers. You play this card out from the main mode effect, so it's 5 cost, yellow, red. The colors don't matter though, so you're going to play any of your Tamers for free. So I'll play like my TK, and then finalize the effect here, so their Digimon gets whatever DP off of it. And then the second part of that effect is now goes to the top of your security, so now you can activate again next turn and attack. You have another Tamer in hand, you play the Tamer out. That's basically why this deck is so good. So you definitely want to play 4 of it. It's a very good card for getting rid of mid bodies and big like tall stacks of Digimon. We're playing 4 of those. We are playing 1 copy of the Reinforcing Memory Boost. Recovery is good. 1 copy is fine. 1 yellow memory boost. because it's a little consistency booster to this deck. You don't really need the memories as much, but you could use them. It's fine. We're playing 2 Holy Flame. Fine. This card is also a really good target for playing Alpha main mode because you can minus 3,000 to 3 security checks to one of your opponent's Digimon. Then this goes to the top of security, and then if you don't know what security effect is, that everything it gets a blanket effect of -1 security for any Digimon they play this turn. So even Digimon with Rush that come out to the field the same turn will get -1 security. So really powerful. We have 2 copies of, since we are playing a lot of red cards in here. Fireball can get rid of small bodies, 3,000 DP or less, and then it's a draw 2 if it doesn't. Again, we are trying to draw in this deck because there's not that many options to allow us to. 2 Crimson Blaze as well, because there are decks that let us like to go wide, like to play cards for free, like the Tamers from Shoutmon deck, or you can say this is good against even like something like Death X because they can't reduce their play cost. I apologize. I'm thinking of the wrong card. Reduction of cost, playing by effects. So if they play a Tamer from a Shoutmon deck, the Tamers play out the cards from the hand, so they would not be able to do that. I'm sorry, that was a mistake to talk about the Death X. That was a small little error. And then lastly, again, these are cards you could probably change out for other cards that I mentioned before, but I'm playing 1 copy of Defense Plugin C. This is a really good card in my opinion in this deck. First off, it gives one of your Digimon blocker reboot, which is just super good because nothing has blocker or reboot in this deck. But also, when it goes hits and security, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and play a Digimon with a 4 cost or less from them, and then add this card to your hand. So sometimes that you'll actually get lucky and get a Gallantmon out there. Nothing else unfortunately hits that. But I do like to have the 1 copy of Blocker Reboot in this deck and to recycle it back, technically, to go back in hand if you need to use it again. And then lastly, we are playing 1 Heist plugin D, giving your Digimon jamming, and also if it gets hidden security, it's a draw 1. It's very good, and there's, it's just really good. I mean, I could definitely change this out for anything, honestly. This could be Death X. This could be the other plugin A that lets you give you +1 security. It could be another Holy Flame. It's whatever it is, but it's up to you. That's what I love about this deck, is that it's so versatile. You can play whatever you want in this deck at any real ratio, except for the ones I kind of mentioned, like the Sunrise Blesser you kind of want to play for. But that's all I have for you today. I hope it was very helpful. I'm really excited because this is one of my favorite deck types to play, is Control, but not that type of Control that's just literally play a card and pass turn. I like to kind of set up a board and just kind of control the board in a more, like, I guess, I don't want to say unfair way, but like want to make it like that your opponent still does somewhat have a chance. It's like they could play. They're not just going to hard play something and like hope for the best. It's like, yeah, well, I am setting this up in my security, but once you get rid of it, then you can play cards out of it. I do love this fact that this deck is so versatile, though. And again, there are purple versions of this deck. There are other versions of red with different lineup of 5s and 6s. I really do like it. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.